Hi there, folks. This is Alicia Sheehan back. If you're new to my videos, essentially, I'm just here to share our experience through the entire IVF process. And feel free to look back on the videos I've done previously. I've talked a lot about how we discovered we had challenges with fertility, what are different surgeries we've done, IUI, IVF, all of that. It's in there. And I just wanted to check in today. I know I haven't posted in quite a while, and that's because I have spoken with my doctor, as you all know from my last video, about what our next steps are going to be after our failed frozen embryo transfer. And essentially, a lot of the solution is just to wait. However, we are creeping closer to the end of the wait for our next try. So I just wanted to post here today. I want to share with you folks what our next protocol plan is and what that will look like. As far as I understand, I never really know until I go through it. And I just also want to share, for anybody who's going through this or considering going through this, sort of like the logistical uh, challenges that fortunately we've had time to plan how we're going to manage things. But it's definitely something to consider, IVF process, frozen embryo transfer, it all does kind of take a lot of time, especially on the female side of things. So, balancing that with life can be tricky. And I just want to share some of the ways we've figured it out to make some balance. So, first thing I want to do is talk about the fact that my doctor is amazing. You can watch my video about our failed embryo transfer, but I had never done a frozen embryo transfer before. I had only ever done fresh, and I was really thinking that it would be a much easier process. And for me, it was not. So you can check out my other video for the details on that. But essentially, my doctor was fantastic, and this seems to be the case with any doctor that I, work with. We eventually come to the conclusion that um, my body doesn't like medication. So we're really thinking, in terms of the discussion I had with my doctor in regards to our frozen embryo transfer, that I was on a lot of medications and sort of altering the natural hormonal process of my body to a very significant degree. So, moving forward, we have two embryos left. Moving forward, what my doctor would like to try, and I'm very excited about, is something called an ovulatory cycle.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
you've already got your best evidence, the ultrasound. So I think, Alicia, that I would go with the ovulatory cycle. The progesterone I would use would be the intramuscular on a daily basis.
Hmm.
It's not a fun injection. You've already done it.
I
It's
have,
not a
yeah.
fun injection. But I, what I want to avoid is anything that could possibly have caused some uterine spasm. I don't think endometrium would do it, but I'd like to make enough of a change here and just see how you go with all of that.
Okay.
So,
Just one additional question to that, and this is the only reason why I asked about the progesterone levels. Like, if
yeah,
my progesterone levels were, nice and high, like the bleeding that I had, wouldn't that have like stopped it at least, or at least made it less significant? I could be
the
completely incorrect on that.
no, because if you have any kind of implantation, and you may not have had any, but if there's any implantation, implantation is inflammatory and can cause a bleeding. Usually, when we see early bleeding, we assume that it's a progesterone issue. When a woman is on intramuscular progesterone, the any bleeding you see is not going to be related to the progesterone level. We may not have it. What is an indicator of is an unstable endometrium. The lining in the uterus just did not form properly.
Okay. Okay.
And if it does form properly, then progesterone should keep it in place. If it doesn't form properly, then it is the term we use is friable. Like you're frying something. Friable means that it's very delicate and it will break off very easily. So my concern is that it was just it was an endometrium that just didn't form well. Now, now that I say that, that if you're going to shed the endometrium, that essentially is a period. And if we've got you on progesterone and that endometrium is a lot thicker, then if you do you get cramps from your periods?
Slight. Yeah.
All right. Well, if you've got a real thick endometrium, um, and it's not stable and you're shedding it, geez, I wonder if that caused all your pain.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, yeah, this whole cocktail, I'm like, that sounds like it's
This could
adding
have been
up.
this could have been like a super period.
Yeah, yeah. Because it
Yeah.
was it when it so it was like I just kind of woke up one morning, and it was quite heavy. So yeah, and that
Yeah.
lasted
I bet
heavy
you
for a
I
few
bet you
days.
this okay. I will bet you this is a unstable endometrium. Just as I'm thinking this through, that makes the most sense
Mhm.
because the we weren't giving you anything that would cause the pain, but if your physiology did not respond the way it should, which doesn't mean you're a bad person, by the way.
I
If it didn't respond the
yeah.
way it should, then that may have given you this super period and all the pain that comes with it.
Mhm.
That's the only way I could rationalize it. I may be wrong, but it's the only way I could rationalize. All I can say is I really hope to hell you don't go through that again. I hope the only discomfort you have is when you go into labor with a
Yes,
baby.
yes, yes.
That
Well, I
that
appreciate
is
that.
what that's what I want you to have.
Yes. Me as
Okay.
well. Yeah.
All right. So I've changed the protocol based on I've deleted the matrix. I'm bringing you back on day 8.
I think I've seen other women mention this as like a natural cycle. Kind of same concept to my understanding. So, firstly, I will share that discussion, but I just want to pause here. I'm going to insert the protocol I received. So I'll So, as you can see, I have some understanding of what to expect, but from you, like that is kind of, I think, a standard document and it's not like a calendar or a good outline. So, when we do move forward with this type of frozen embryo transfer, I'll definitely be documenting for you folks so we kind of know what that actually means. So here's what I'm expecting based on the conversation with the nurses and doctors at my clinic. So, um, well, firstly, we will be starting on, depending on when my period comes, it should be March 26th. Today is February 20th. And that's because I had so many issues with basically like uterine contractions last time. That was actually post transfer. So my doctor just wanted to give everything a break, let my body sort of re regulate from all of the hormonal intervention. So we wanted to take a couple of cycles and, you know, wait for things to kind of calm down. So we're hoping for March 26th to start our ovulatory cycle. What I would be expecting, as far as I'm aware, is that I will go in for blood work on day 3, and that's essentially for a baseline. I will return for blood work on day 8. That's not standard in an ovulatory cycle, but it's because my cycle is typically around 26 days, which is rather short. So the objective of the blood work is to identify the LH surge, which basically indicates that I have ovulated. So at the point that the day that I ovulate, so I'll go in on day 8, and if If we don't see the surge on day 8, like I could be going in possibly like on the 9th, on the 10th day, you know, we got to catch that surge. That's the most important part of an ovulatory cycle. On the day that I ovulate, I will do an injection of HCG, and that's just really to kickstart the process of thickening the endometrium lining. So that's the part I'm really clear on. The part I'm really not quite sure of and won't know until I get there is that I will also be starting, we're going to use progesterone and oil injections, because in my previous cycle, what is it called? Endometrin, the vaginal tablets. I have so many issues with those. Also, the estrase, so basically the estrogen, whether I took that vaginally or orally, I had reaction to that as well. So I don't believe that's part of my protocol at all, but I will be doing progesterone and oil injections. And I'm just a little unclear as to when I start those. But again, that is going to be started before transfer to help thicken the lining. So I believe I will be starting the progesterone and oil, if not the same day as the HCG injection, probably very close to. And again, at some point, I'm going to go in and go for an ultrasound, and we're just going to measure that uterine lining and make sure it's nice and thick. If everything looks good, then we move ahead with transfer. And let me just clarify this, the whole process. So transfer should occur. So we have frozen 5-day embryos. So we're going to defrost ones, would be day 6. So essentially 6 days after I ovulate and we catch that LH surge, that's when we transfer. So I kind of did the math on that. And if I do ovulate on day 8, this whole thing is only going to be 2 weeks. And I just think that's really incredible. I very much hope that it works. And basically, an ovulatory cycle is just a matter of, you know, working with your body's natural process that you would, you know, go through to become pregnant if you did not do IVF. Now, I know that there is, you know, some possibility of this cycle canceling, but I feel that, you know, the investment in terms of time and money is very minimal compared to other processes. So I'm okay with that. Simply because, you know, this protocol is not for everyone, because, I mean, there are, you know, my doctor said, you know, in any female who is 35 or older, he wouldn't really want to go with this protocol. And also, for women who have issues with ovulation naturally, this is not an appropriate cycle either. So I actually don't know if I regularly ovulate. So, you know, it's going to be a bit of a discovery, and hopefully things work out. So that is the plan. I'm just going to actually throw in here too. So I mentioned in my last video, my husband and I have started doing some counseling, and that's been really, really good for us because we've just been through so much in terms of fertility, but also, you know, we've moved, he's changed jobs, we're in a new community, we just have lots going on. So that's been really, really good for us, and we're in a really good place, I think. Now, logistics. So we have 2 big challenges with this cycle. So one is that with my husband's new job, he works irregular hours, and also it's not uncommon for him to be sent to an on-site job, which could potentially be in another province. So essentially, progesterone and oil is something that I will be taking every single day. It's an injection in sort of like the top of your gluteus muscle. So it is possible to self-administer that injection, but it's very tricky. It requires some contortioning. So basically, typically the spouse would perform those injections for you. And for us, that's not something we can necessarily count on. And that the window, when you pick your time that you take your progesterone and oil, I believe your window is like 20 minutes to half an hour. It has to be within that time frame every single day or it's not effective. So as a solution to that, I am so lucky. In our new community, our doctor, we have a family health team and a general practitioner there. There are nurses there, so they have agreed that if I provide the medication from the fertility clinic and bring in the instructions provided, that they would do the administration for me. So that is fantastic. Still a slight challenge because the doctor's office is open Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. So in terms of me working, that's going to be a little bit tricky. And then on the weekends, they're going to send like a requisition to our local hospital so that the nurses can do my injections on the weekends when our family health team is not open. So that was really great that we were able to work that out. I will be attempting to do my own injections. I want to say thank you. There are some women out there who have posted videos on self-administering progesterone and oil injections, and I'm just going to kind of give it a shot, I think, in front of one of the nurses to ensure that I'm doing it correctly. And that's kind of the plan around that. So the other challenge is with our clinic, every time we do a frozen embryo transfer, we need to sign disclaimers. And I do understand this because, basically my husband needs to sign that he's okay with, basically his genetics, being transferred into my body. That's kind of the gist of the disclaimer. Now the challenge is that it's not acceptable for him to just sign it. It needs to be either witnessed by a staff member at our clinic, which is either like we do our transfer in Toronto, which for us is about 2.5 to 3 hours away. Or I do my monitoring at a satellite site that's a little bit closer. But still, that's like an hour away. And with my husband's hours, he basically would have to take a day off work for that. However, we also could have those documents signed in front of a notary. But again, with my husband's hours, I'm just going to have to try and find a local notary who would be willing to work outside of regular hours. He commutes for work and is not available in our area at 9 to 5. So that's just a little logistical issue that we kind of have to figure out. But in terms of logistical problems, that one's not too bad. So that's our plan moving forward. I've just been really focusing. I've been, running again and enjoying that while I can, because I know that, after transfer, that's not really a great idea. Focusing on my health. We live in a reno house, so trying to get things feeling a little bit fresher and, working on those improvements. So that's what we've been up to in the meantime. So that's my update. I hope that, this is helpful to folks who might be, planning IVF, frozen embryo transfer, and, I hope too, if you have not heard, I had not heard of the ovulatory cycle, perhaps it's something to discuss with your doctor, because it's definitely a lot easier than the first frozen embryo protocol that I did. And if you might be a candidate, it's worth discussing with your doctor for sure. So next video won't be until hopefully we start our cycle on our new protocol on March 26th, and I'll definitely document the whole thing and let you. And I just want to tell you all that I totally relate with you, and I feel that you are so strong and so amazing, and keep pushing if that's your dream. So good luck to everyone out there, and I'll be in touch soon.